Welcome to Directions from a Spiritual Tour Guide. I am Chanel Scott, a healer and a psychic medium who has been sharing my gifts professionally for more than a decade. This is a space where spirituality is simple, grounded, and lived, not performed. Here, we talk about the real inner work, the pauses, the questions, the healing, and the moments that shift everything quietly. This is the real talk for real life, without the fluff, the bypassing, or the pressure to be anything other than yourself. Through honest conversations, guided healing sessions, and soulful reflections, you'll be reminded that you already carry the wisdom you're seeking. Spirituality isn't something you chase. It's something you remember and embody. I'm here with you on this journey we call life, to gently guide you back to yourself, to reclaim your power, and remember your sacred self. From my heart and soul to yours. Hey there, Chanel here, your host and your spiritual tour guide on this beautiful journey into energy and focus today. You're not actually stuck. Your energy is just focused in the wrong place. We've all been there. That feeling of dread, that feeling of like nothing is going right, that feeling like no matter what we do, we're just stuck. The story repeats over and over again, and the feeling of heaviness shows up. We feel stuck. We feel blocked. We don't understand why, and we don't seem to be able to move it no matter what we do. We're stuck. But what if you're not? What if you're just focusing your energy in the wrong place? And yeah, it's that simple. Because around here, simplicity is the name of the game. We like to make spiritual practices as simple as possible. So it's about understanding your own mindset, the stories that you tell yourself, your thoughts, and your feelings. Because this is the subconscious mind coming to the surface. This is your subconscious, that quiet spot. It's below our consciousness. It's subconscious. It is this quiet place where our world gets defined. And it's been happening since the day you were born. And maybe even before that. But that's another podcast for another day. Our subconscious mind looks at our reality, our world, and starts to create the reality that we live. It defines it for us. And it's hidden there in the subconscious. You see, your mind looks to validate what's going on. And every time that it plants that seed into the subconscious mind. Because the mind wants to work as effectively as possible. It wants to conserve energy, and it wants to automate everything that we possibly can. And this repetition of I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, creates the pattern and the subconscious belief that you are stuck. It's what you are telling the universe over and over and over again. Our brain begins to believe it, even though it might not be the truth. Our brain looks to validate and for the evidence to back up what it believes, not what is, but what it believes is true. And this is where we start to get into a problem. We get stuck in the patterns. It's why positivity just doesn't work all the time. When we go to positivity, if there isn't safety behind it, there isn't a truth in our being, when we say that positive thing, then the mind doesn't believe it. The subconscious kicks back in and it repeats the old pattern. We get a cue, a feeling of being stuck, and then we get the behavior, I'm stuck, I don't know where I'm going, I can't figure this out, and we go down that rabbit hole, and then we get we'll call it the reward, even though when we're stuck it doesn't feel that way. But that's just where the universe will just keep on showing us that we are stuck, repeating it over and over and over again. It becomes this deep subconscious pattern because we don't feel safe in something different. So part of the problem we get stuck is that we have to disrupt this pattern. We have to find safety. Focusing on a solution or changing the energy of where you are focusing isn't about ignoring your actual reality. It's about choosing. It's about understanding that you have the power to shift yourself, that the inner workings can change, and that you can shift your subconscious. Not just what was programmed when you were a kid, but you can change your whole reality. And I have some life hacks for you, or shall we call them subconscious hacks? I've got a few things that you can use to trick the mind, we'll say, into moving in a different way, into disrupting the pattern and creating a new one. But remember, it's a pattern because it's repeated, which also means we have to repeat the life hacks to be able to create the new pattern. So remember that as we were going through these, that they do need to be repeated over and over. It's not one and done. It's a mindset practice. It's a manifestation practice because we have to do it on a daily basis. But these are little tricks and tips that I have for you to shift that focus and to kind of trick your mind along the way. Let's go back to that whole, the mind believes a truth. It isn't necessarily the truth. And we're going to start there with stories. Because the mind likes something that validates the thing that we are trying to do, the thought process, the feeling. Remember, that's the mind's job. The mind is always on the look for validation, to create evidence to show that something is true. So when we have an opinion, it's just this thought out in the universe. And the mind has to actually do work. It has to find evidence of truth. The bypass is a story. A story regardless of whether it is true or not. A story is a way to tell the brain that there is already validation. There is evidence for the truth that is being shared in the story. So when somebody tells you their personal experience, and this is where sharing our truth, sharing our story can be really powerful. So when I say to you, I had this problem and this is what I did to solve it, and now I feel so much better, I have a solution, I have a tool, your mind says, oh my goodness, validated, there's evidence, let's do this thing, it's truth. Where if I say, well, here, you could do this, your mind goes, ooh, I don't know. There's no evidence to prove that. There's no evidence to back that up. So a story, whether it's true or not, can shift the mind faster than an opinion. There you go. One that I share, and I use it, especially right now. I've shared, I've had some health stuff going on. Perimenopause is a kicker. It's been a bit, but I've gotten back to working out finally now that I have energy again. Thank you to my naturopath and hormones and an iron infusion and all the good stuff. But one of the things I've found is that I'm struggling a bit. I'm used to being so in shape. I was a full-time yoga teacher. I was a full-time dance teacher. I had all these jobs that I was so physical. And the last 6 months, I haven't worked out. I've barely done anything. I've done a lot of napping. So one of the tricks I'm using is, somebody said, use your name instead of the word I. When we use our name, it creates a physical distance. It's physiology. It is just creating that space between me and the thought. It activates a different part of our brain. And that distancing gives us space to go, yeah, I can actually do this. So as I'm moving along, trying to get to my goal on my walking pad, hoofing it along on my almost jog, my very speedy walk, when I'm look at my watch and I'm not quite there, I'm like, Chanel, you can do this. And it just hits in a different way than when I say, I can do this. And the I comes out automatically sometimes. And when I do that, I'm like, no, Chanel, you can do this. And I can feel the energetic shift in my body. So that's a great hack for creating a little bit more distance and just giving yourself a little bit more space. Use your name instead of I. Now, another one that I love is telling your brain that something is new instead of telling your brain that you're bad at it. When we are trying to shift a pattern, we're doing something new. So tell your brain that. Say, this is new and I'm working really hard at it. Or this is new and the more I do it, the better I'm going to get at it. If we instead say, I'm just bad at this thing, automatically it kicks in a different part of our brain. It shuts down emotions and it tells the brain to validate that we are bad at it instead of telling the brain, this is new and I'm practicing it. You get to choose where you put that focus, where you put that energy. Are you telling the universe, telling your brain to validate that you are bad at it? Or are you telling the universe to validate and to give evidence that this is something new and you are working at it day after day? Life hack. Shift it. When you begin to shift the thoughts, shift the energy, shift the focus, you begin to see the differences. Which leads into my next one, which is ask for the win. Ask the universe to show you. Ask it. Ask it to show you the wins. It will gladly do that over and over and over again because you're asking for it. Which leads into another one, which I love and has been a game changer for me, is ask to see the solution. We're redirecting the energy. Instead of focusing on the problem, we're asking to be shown the solution. Show me the solution in a way that I can fully understand it. I trust that the solution is on its way. When we ask for that, we're again redirecting the mind. We're redirecting it to the solution instead of the problem. We're redirecting that focus. It's a simple shift to redirect. Now, another one I really like that's about asking questions, and this one's great for if you do subliminal work at all. I will do subliminals, so a subliminal under music to redirect for a client or in a group. And a subliminal technique that you can use is asking questions. How am I so good at attracting clients? How am I so good at attracting money? So it's kind of like a trick in the sense that we're saying that we already have done something, but because we're asking it a question, it actually creates the distance. So think of whatever your block is. How did I get so good at being vulnerable and sharing my story? Because you need to hear it to shift your story. But when we ask these questions, again, we're creating this distance. Now, it might take a little bit to think of the questions you need to ask. How did I get so good at being healthy? Where did I come up with all of these amazing ideas? We're just telling the universe where we want to put our energy. We may not know the answer to that question, but the question just activates something different. It tricks the mind. It moves it in the direction we want it to go. It changes the focus. Do you see the theme here? We're changing the focus. This is where changing your language can also be really important. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Again, that's that stuck mentality. When we shift it, we can say, what is this showing me? And the energy changes. I always love the one, because I work with a lot of business people doing business intuition. And one of the ones I always bring up is, how do I make more money in my business versus how do I serve my clients better? It's two questions with the same answer, getting more money, but they act in a different way. They have a very different energy. So when we can pay attention to the words we use, the language that we use, and begin to shift that, it can shift where the energy is going. Now, the last one I'm going to share. Oh, sorry. I have two more. I'm like checking my notes. So 2 more. 1, train your brain to see what is working. Instead of seeing what's not working, pay attention to what is working. Gratitude's great for that. I'm so grateful that post landed. I'm so grateful that podcast had the information that somebody needed to hear today. So when we pay attention to what is working, again, we're reprogramming the brain to look at things in a different way. We're sending our energy to the wins instead of to the losses. Now, the last one, and I love this one, is feel it. When we are doing visualization, and everybody's different in that, I always hesitate, I guess, when I say visualization, because there is very much the recognition that we all work in different ways. But one thing that is like foundational is feelings. Whether you're seeing it, writing it, hearing it, speaking it, however it comes out, when the feeling is attached to it, it amplifies. It's bringing in that secondary sense. It is bringing in our foundational way of receiving intuition. It is the way that the universe speaks. The universe does not speak in words. It speaks in energy, in feelings. And I've noticed this more and more over the last year or two. The feelings that come through for me when I'm doing intuitive work are so potent these days. When I'm doing manifestation work for myself or energy work for myself, the energy comes up first and then I define it. Define might be the wrong word, but then I track it and allow it to speak. But I have to feel it. The more we can feel something, feel yourself driving that new car, sitting at your desk at your new job, holding hands with that perfect or that ideal partner. We don't use perfect in this world. Perfect is unattainable. When we feel those things, opening the door to our brand new house, knowing what that feeling is, that is huge. Our body wants to feel safe. And when we feel those joyous emotions, those big emotions, our body feels safe and raises our vibration because it's joy and happiness, and it starts moving us in the direction that we want to go. Feeling is really important. And it comes in to all those other hacks. It's just such a foundational piece. Feelings really are magical in the shift. When I talked at the beginning about feeling stuck, you knew exactly what that felt like. You could feel it, physiology, in your body, the sensations that come up, the heaviness, the mind stuff that comes forward when I say that. Because we've all been there and we know it. We viscerally feel stuck when we talk about it. Our bodies say, yeah, I know that feeling. Our minds say, I've been there. But we can also shift that. When we talk about joy, our body remembers that. Our body loves being in a state of joy and love. We were created from love. Our frequency of creation is the pure love that we had to say, hey, take me down to earth and let me have a human experience. That is sheer love. So it is an easy energy for us to constantly be moving back into. So it's not about becoming something new. It's really just about influencing our inner conversation, our inner world, our inner working, knowing that we have the power and the ability, and most of all, the choice to change things. You have the choice, always. You have the choice of where you focus your energy. And I hope that this conversation today makes you notice where you're putting your energy. So take the time to pay attention, to ask to have the awareness, and notice the places that you can use those hacks and begin shifting your energy and moving it in the direction of exactly what it is that you want to create. Because again, you have the choice to change your world. One thought, one focused energy at a time. Now, if this is something you struggle with, know that I'm here. I've been there, I've done that, and I have made some major shifts in my life. Not only can you do this in the groups that I offer, my signature program, Come Home to Your Sacred Self, even in Divine Map, my community, my mentoring community, but this is the work that I do one-on-one. This is the work that I do with my clients. Noticing and recognizing the places that you are blocked and stuck, because I have a superpower. Being a psychic medium and a healer, the universe, your body, shows me exactly where it is that I need to go. It shows me exactly what I need to see to help you. It's like bypassing all the work to get there, and just being able to do the work to be able to shift and change it. When we have knowledge and understanding, when we have knowing, we have the ability to change our life, to change our trajectory, to change where we focus our energy. And I am here for it. Day after day, client after client, it is my pleasure and my joy to help you see the places that you can shift your energy and take your life back, to move into the power of your own purpose, your choices that move you closer to your dreams. I am here for it. And if you are here for it too, you can click my booking link down below and book your one-on-one session. Or if you want to move into a group setting, there's also those options. Come Home to Your Sacred Self will launch again this fall, and there's so many other ways to connect. But again, the most powerful is one-on-one, working on exactly what it is that you need to shift and change, because nobody needs to be stuck. We just need to remember who we are and the power that we have to create the dreams of our lives. Thank you. Thank you for being here and listening today, and I hope some of this landed in places that it needed to. Take what you need and leave behind what you don't. But thank you for being here on this journey and letting me be your spiritual tour guide today. From my heart and soul to yours. Until the next time, bye now. Thank you for spending this time with me. If something from this episode resonated, let it settle. Awareness will always show you what you need to know. If you feel called to go deeper, you're invited to explore the ways we can work together through private sessions, group experiences, and guided practices, all shared at my website, fromtheheartandsoul.com. And if this episode supported you, subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing it with someone on a similar path helps this work reach those who may need it. Trust what stayed with you. Trust what stirred. Those are the directions meant for you. Until the next time, keep listening inward and walking your path in your own way. From my heart and soul to yours.